Collective. Hey, what is going on? Happy full moon in Scorpio. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy around the full moon in Scorpio, which is happening on May 1st via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. It's been a pretty quiet week astrologically leading up to this full moon. Full moons usually amplify tension, emotion, feeling, frustration, etc. And with this one in Scorpio, it is no different. Even though maybe there's not like a lot of intensity, a lot of transits happening this week, we can still feel something like happening underneath the surface. And there's definitely tension arising as we're hitting this full moon, more tension than what we've been seeing throughout the week. So it definitely could exasperate or escalate certain situations when there already is tension or negativity kind of present in the dynamic. And a lot of the things that we're being challenged on with this full moon specifically relates to how it affects our ego, our pride, our emotions, getting our feelings hurt, taking things too personally, that type of thing, which I'm not saying that those situations are easy to just kind of like, let roll off your back and not pay attention to. But I feel like as we've been seeing in the readings, there's a lot of other good things going on for us. And that's really where we want to plug in our energy, our time, our focus, because those are going to be the things that are giving longevity, that are bringing in stability, more abundance, more happiness and fulfillment. And yes, like the messier or more tense parts of life do need to be addressed. Full moons definitely bring out some of that energy, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not getting stuck in those places. And sometimes we can do that. We're in Taurus season right now. It's earth energy. It's really easy to get stuck or limit oneself, kind of become a little bit more apathetic or slow moving around certain things. And even if there is not a lot happening in your life in the present moment, it's still good to invest in yourself right now, because there's things happening behind the scenes, as I was mentioning. And we're seeing this it will definitely be displayed through this full moon, because things could seemingly pop off out of nowhere, right? Like someone gets really pissed off. There is some relationship tension being highlighted in this full moon, which we'll talk about a little bit more as we get into the reading. But don't be too, just have maybe appropriate expectations is what I'll say, that things can veer in a completely different or unanticipated direction, even if it doesn't seem like it's going that way, or even if, like, especially if I should say, you're sensing that tension underneath the surface. A lot of the tension that we're facing, it's around the changes that we have to make. It's also around the places that we feel like our life should be a little more abundant or better off, and it's just not happening. It's not manifesting according to our plan or agenda. And I hope I'm not sounding too bleak. So that energy does come up a little bit with Scorpio. Scorpio can be a little bit of a want energy, because it's not afraid to go into those darker nooks and crannies of life and explore sometimes the heavier things, right? And when we have things that kind of hit us out of left field, they do test us, they challenge us, they challenge our character, where we're at in life, how we respond, etc. And so I feel like some of the stuff that is coming our way, it's essentially taking the temperature. It's a barometer. Where are you at? And then as you're navigating these things, just like paying attention to where you are at, right? Trying not to judge it, trying to be gentle with yourself. Don't have these unrealistic expectations, but also use it as information for how to make changes, adjustments that better situate you moving forward. So We'll dive into all of that. I'm going to start off with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places we might feel blocked, limited, frustrated, unable to see a clear path in front of us. It's a really good time to set your intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart or mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services, and readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are looking for more of that realignment of self, your mind, body, and soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned in self, when we're grounded, strong, when we know ourselves, that's really where we manifest our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance. And I would totally love to help support that in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so I am picking up this energy of like feeling not helpless, but feeling like you don't know what to do. Like maybe everything is in order. Maybe you have a certain level of stability and grounding underneath you. Like you've kind of situated yourself in a position where you're feeling good. You like the path that you're on, or maybe some certain goals you've been trying to achieve, etc., are finally paying off. And it feels like an energy that's like continuing to develop and grow. So I'm not necessarily seeing you at the end point of something. I'm seeing you like, I'm ready, right? I'm ready to like take this on. I did a reading earlier this morning and it had like a similar vibe to it. Full moons always amplify energy, right? It's essentially in our manifestation cycle when we see the fruits of our labor, because that amplified energy is either bringing in manifestations, which there are some really good opportunities for partnerships and relationships. There is a aspect pattern that forms a lot of positive opportunity when it comes to, like I said, like our relationships. It helps with a little bit more love and harmony and understanding. And these are people that we vibe with, right? These are not people, these are not dynamics that are bringing up unnecessary frustration or tensions. Yes, even in healthy relationships, they have their ebb and flow. They can be good sometimes and like not so fun at other times. I'm talking about like toxic dynamics or dynamics that just cannot move forward, or those are going to be where we're seeing a little bit more of the resistance and tension. We'll get into that with the way that the full moon is aspected with Venus. But then there's also this harmonious component with Venus harmoniously aspected to Saturn, which is giving us, when we are like on the same wavelength with a relationship, it can be love, it doesn't have to be, then we're able to overcome those challenges, right? Because they are relationships that are built out of reciprocity, equal give and take, understanding that there's multiple people perspective involved and everyone deserves a fair shake to whatever capacity that is. It looks like you are in a place where you are refining your intuitive senses. Things that you're picking, I feel like Spirit's actually telling you things in an intuitive way. You're picking up intuitive messages about how certain things are going to be playing out. And you might have your doubts. You might have your uncertainties, because there are things that are happening in real time that aren't necessarily matching the messages that you're picking up. And I feel like that's where we see the only tension we're finding with Neptune during this full moon. Neptune is tensely aspected to the vertex point. And that really talks about how when people or situations are resisting change, they don't want things to culminate. They don't want things to find resolution. They don't want it to move forward. And so there is a lot of resistance. That lack of belief is exactly what I was just talking about, right? Lack of belief that something is actually going to work out, that it's going to work out in your favor. And I'm hearing like Spirit needs you to trust in that, especially like I was just saying, with the things that are good, with the relationships and the dynamics that you find reciprocity, that you're not constantly overly catering to, or even like being on the flip side, right? There's two aspects. We can sometimes take advantage of relationships, hopefully not. And if you are realizing you're in a position as such, you can always just dial it back, or maybe reach out to someone and say, hey, how can I support you? How can, you've really been great. You've been available for me. How can I give back? Those are the dynamics that we want to be feeding into. And those are the ones that, are the ones we need to be focusing on. Those are the things that we need to actually believe in the truth that they're selling. Because I do feel like some of this, we're seeing it a little bit with Black Moon Lilith tensely aspected to Venus, but some of the trickery, some of the illusion is playing out, especially as it relates to our stability, like a belief that there isn't stability coming through, or that you're not going to get to a place where there is more balance and harmony. It's important, I think, also to stay very balanced during this full moon. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're investing in self-love, self-care. This is also connected to our relationships. Venus is the energy of how we beautify our life. It also talks about relationships, people we care about. It can be love. It doesn't have to be specifically. But we do have some tense intensity, like I was talking about with Black Moon Lilith, as well as the North Node. And the North Node is how we need to evolve. Ways that we need to overcome some of these obstacles, whether it is just making peace within yourself, that this is the reality of the situation. And for whatever reason, whether you know why or not, you just have to move through it according to its own timeline. And then there's also these other dynamics where a lot is actually changing in the background that maybe you're not even 100% aware of. And that is that component of just trusting, having the faith. Whatever space you're coming, space, that extra time, space, energy that you have for yourself right now is specifically so you can grow. And so you can find a little bit more support in your life as well. You might not be getting a lot of support from outside resources. This is a really good time, again, to pay attention to who and what is doing that in your life. It's going to be very loud and clear. I don't think you're going to have to second guess yourself or go into panic mode, paranoia. What did this person mean? If it is going to be something that is not for your highest and best, I feel like it's going to show itself very authentically. And even to the point, we were talking about with this Neptune energy, that even if it is a little bit underhanded or someone's not being completely transparent, you're going to pick up on it really quickly. And I think it is challenging. I'm seeing this full moon definitely challenging relationship dynamics. We get the 3 of Cups, 100%. This is our friendship community, and it doesn't just have to be, but it's any type of community that we have around with us, how it impacts us, how it affects us. Yes, it can be friends that we're celebrating with, but this can also just be people that you see day in and day out, that you share a lot of life with. The energy is being forced to change. Especially where there is inauthenticity, especially where there is a lack of growth and support. I do think some of this stuff is going to be, like I said, it's going to be put on the table is what I'm hearing. It's going to be put on the table, front and center. The devil clarifies our growth and support. So I feel like especially if you've come from a place where you've had someone actively make things hard and difficult for you. There's a lot coming out around this full moon. And you might even get some of this information from people you know, or people who were like in the same friendship circle with whomever, whatever this devil is to you. I'll clarify that as well as we move on, but I want to get a little bit more. Let's see what's up. Okay, Page of Wands. I like your energy. You're feeling bright. You're feeling vibrant. You're feeling curious and motivated. We have the sun popping out. So again, we're getting some information. You're getting some clarity over this full moon. And I think this is something that you've had to actually wait on for a long time. Like, it feels like maybe even part of you has made peace that you'll never get some of this information, or it might even feel like a situation that you've made peace with and moved on from. But it does look like, to whatever capacity this is, some clarity is coming in. Clarity, the sun came out for us as well today. I think it was our first card in our midweek check-in. And the sun is very clarifying. Like, it's hard to escape the luminosity of the sun, right? You can't hide. And it feels like someone or something is not able to hide. It could be this Knight of Wands energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be someone that you held. We'll see a little bit about who this is. I'm seeing someone like bring this information to you. Also bringing an offer, allowing you an opportunity to make a decision. This might have even just been like people that you might have lost connection with, because it kind of feels like, especially if you were in a dynamic where people chose sides, it looks like these are people who maybe didn't choose your side, or you didn't stick around long enough to figure out what they thought. There could have been some backlash on some level that you really just didn't want to be around. Like, you didn't want to be around for it with the Page of Wands. Like, you took time to yourself. You stopped listening so much to the things around you, and you forced yourself to take the necessary time to like really go within and figure yourself out, sort yourself out. You might even be coming like from a time where you're re-emerging. And I don't even know that you fully have with this Seven of Pentacles in your blocked energy, because it does feel like you're waiting for the perfect moment, perfect time. You're in your own little world over here, and I think you like your own little world. Like, it feels like whatever this is, you've separated your energy enough from it that I feel like it does look like you've moved on. That's what I would say. It does look like you've moved on, or you just put it on the back burner. Even if this is like a person situation that you weren't really trying to like cut out of your life, you're like, I know that I'm going to have to deal with this, or I know that this is going to come back around a little bit down the road, but now is not that time. And you turned that energy, investing it into self. The Star is healing. It does look like there's a lot of conversation around this, a lot of conversation around where you're at right now. I do feel like there are some eyes on you, or it does look that way, because it does look like someone, something, or a group of people is either planning to offer you something or wanting to reach out, wanting to kind of like extend the first hand of communication 100%. Ace of Coins, Page of Swords, Knight of Swords. So someone's making some intentional plans to come your way, to start something new or restart. I think there's a lot of, it looks like there's going to be a lot of back and forth communication with whatever this is. Because I do see new information coming in, specifically around this Knight of Wands. Whomever, whatever this is that kind of like blocked something for you. This could be someone who intentionally like tried to meddle in your business. Or it could have just been like, I don't know, something that you were dealing with that it kind of just pushed other people away. It does look like, I don't know, the way the cards are reading out, this does look like someone who directly was meddling in your business. Yeah, with that High Priestess. And, you know, I mean, it looks like either someone chose the wrong side and now they're backtracking a little bit, or, you know, maybe they're just seeing you in a different light, or they're just wanting to reconnect, rekindle something with you. It feels important to them. It feels like this is something, like, I don't know. I am hearing, like, picking up where you left off. 8 of Coins. This could be a work opportunity. This could be something that provides a little bit of extra income for yourself. I think that the conversation, though, it does feel a little bit like it's bringing clarity, but also more questions. And it looks like with this 4 of Swords, like after you have this conversation or interaction, it's putting you in a position where you're like, okay, it's putting a new spin on things. It's helping, but it's not at the same time. And I feel like the way that the perspectives are playing out, like your perspective versus this person or this group of people or whatever it is, it's very different. It's very different. And even in the way that it's like hard to understand each other, it's hard to hear each other. And there might be a reason why for that, right? Especially because, like, I don't know, is it good to be friends with people who kind of leave you high and dry, especially if someone's intentionally saying bad stuff about you or kind of tainting your name, or, you know, and people don't, like, again, I don't know that you stuck around to find out what people thought, but it also looks like something wasn't coming to you, but now they do want to come back to you, right? And there is this energy of like uncertainty, a little bit of blame. I'm not gonna lie, like this feels like yeah, like, and I think that that's where you're having a hard time, because I think you're getting misjudged. I think that whatever this perspective is, it's like so far off from how you think, what you think your intentions were, how you perceived your interaction. And it almost feels a little bit offensive, right? Like, even if someone doesn't know you, it feels like someone who's like not giving you the benefit of the doubt, or assuming worst case scenario, or, you know, just kind of made things worse than what they had to be for no reason. And either it didn't get talked about, or there just was some type of miscommunication and it made it just 10 times worse than what it was. And either it hasn't been cleaned up in enough time, and so you have moved on, because I do see this energy of you like kind of doing your own thing and getting pulled back into a situation that it's not bad topically. It does look like someone's trying to extend an olive branch or give you something or share in something with you, invite you into something that they think is going to grow and be profitable and be beneficial for everybody involved. But the foundation that has been set, especially if this is a past energy, the foundation that has been set doesn't feel like it's in alignment with what this new beginning would look like. And I'm not really sure that things are getting readdressed, or if they are getting readdressed, there's no resolution, you know? And that's exactly, like, as I'm saying this, that's exactly how the energy is playing out in the astrology. It's like and that's why I think that component of Venus harmoniously aspected to Saturn is so important, that soulmate connection, when it feels so much different when we're vibing with people that are just, that have the same understanding, right? Like, that are on the same wavelength level, that respect, have the same moral, have the same value, integrity, etc. It's a very different exchange than just like working with someone because it like looks good on paper, but it's like incredibly arduous and difficult to deal with. And that's a little bit of what this energy feels like coming back in. That, and maybe Spirit's just giving you the confirmation, you know? Maybe you had to do some growth around certain things Let's clarify that before I wrap it up. I'm wondering if this devil was something that you had to move through, or for the learning, or if it was something you had to overcome. Let's see. Why is this in our blocked energy? Okay, we get the 8 of Cups. Toxicity, that came out for us today too. The Queen of Swords. This is like being a little bit more, like not being afraid to be kind of cutthroat in the Chariot. Yeah. Because here's the thing, whatever this energy is, and again, everyone's situation is going to be different, but the way this is presenting is like something who maybe not full blown, but kind of did you wrong in the past. And they know that to some capacity, or maybe they're like covering it up with whatever story they're telling themselves, whatever they're believing. I think that an interaction between you guys is going to be really interesting. I think it's going to shed a lot of light onto the situation. Like, I feel like you're learning information. I feel like the way you respond is news to them. It's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that from collective. And you walk away, like I said, it does feel like I'm glad I got this, but at the same time, I'm not. Like, I would have been fine to just be left alone. Like, you would have rather been left alone than had all this stuff dug up. But the silver lining, what I'm seeing is it's giving you insight into why this didn't work out in the first place. And I think it's also highlighting the disconnect in terms of this dynamic. That there are pieces that you just don't fit, and that's okay. It's not a bad, wrong thing. It's just a thing that is. And I feel like it has, yes, like I love this, the Waker, the Awakener, awareness and reflection. I think there are going to be some things that are hard to reflect on. Who got this? Maybe it was Leo who got this in their reading for the week. There are going to be things that are hard to reflect on. And Leo energy in our life, whether you're a Leo sign or not, it does deal with our pride, our sense of self. You know, Leos really love to look good and they love to be front and center. And so when that, our ego gets hurt, that can be humbling, right? And I think there is some humility that comes into play, but I feel like that's also where Spirit's asking you to be a little bit more diplomatic in how you're allowing yourself to think about things. That pros and cons list. The Queen of Swords doesn't really allow feelings. She's aware of her feelings, but if she knows that her feelings are getting her into trouble or putting her in a situation that's going to lead nowhere or back into the same pattern that already happened before, she's not going to do it. You know, she's like, I'm not going down that road, you know? And in my opinion, she's like one of the strongest queens in the deck because of that. Because she'll use her intelligence, her wisdom to guide and direct, even though it might be painful, even though you might have to hear things you don't like about yourself, or it's triggering something, a false belief, a lie about yourself. She's still able to just be like, okay, but I'm not going to pick that up. That might be true. Maybe I need to get better at X, Y, and Z, but, you know. And it's also feeling a little bit like whomever you're dealing with might be using deficits as a way to manipulate or control or make you feel bad. And that becomes the bottom line, right? Like, that is not a resonant energy. That is not an energy that you need to be around. The Chiromancer, delivering news, collaboration. So just confirmation on the whole effing reading right there. The cards never lie. And Chiromancer is essentially, you know, a channeler of messages. Sorry, it's been a long day. It's been a long, unproductive day, like where I did a million things, but I swear like nothing got me anywhere further. So I feel like the weight of that, and I still have work to do. Wah wah. Sorry, I'm sure you guys don't want to hear that. Okay, the Weaver. Rediscovery and transition. Okay, I like it. You know, I think that like what I'm hearing with this is, you know, I feel like part of the information that's coming in, it is helping. It's helping for the future. It's helping you change things up a little bit, even if it is humbling, even if it wasn't your attention, it might be bringing awareness to things that need it, or that did need it, or that do fill in the gaps so you're better informed moving forward, so that you're actually able to consciously weave your fate. And that's really what manifesting with the moon cycles is all about, right? So when the full moon comes into play and we see what results we got from whatever we were plugging away at, working at, etc., then we know how to better sort ourselves moving forward, right? We can look at what came in and say, all right, obviously I need to do some readjusting. I need to release, let go. That's what the waning moon phase is all about, making those readjustments, releasing the things that don't serve whatever this toxicity is, so that you're not playing that pattern out again in the future. And I think the way that you're actually connecting with your growth and support is looking better. It's looking more mature. It's looking a lot different. And maybe you just went through a time of rejection from people that you wanted to be your support, but they just weren't. And that's okay too, right? That's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, I think. Rejection can be it stings, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be the end place. And I think that what we saw here with this Queen of Swords Chariot energy is the more you're actually able to remove the emotion, not take people's shit so personally, and even your own stuff, right? Like giving yourself grace and love and not being so hard on yourself, but doing better next time around. Those are the recipes for success. That's where you're actually going to feel like this full moon isn't going to take you down. It's not a horrible full moon. There's intensity for sure. We can definitely fixate on the things that aren't going our way, throw our little adult temper tantrums. But it's just the nature of how things are right now, so we might come into some annoyances, but there's also a lot of other good things, like I was talking about, that it's called a boomerang yod, a certain aspect pattern that really does help. It helps with our emotional support, our relationships, the ones that are positive and nurturing and focusing on equal give and take, reciprocity, not lying, not hiding, cheating, stealing, etc. And with Saturn's all about hard work, getting the payoff is the hard work. And so when we're investing, being better in those dynamics, showing love, showing compassion, not being so resistant, finding ways to work together in harmony, in balance, that's where our success comes into play. And it feels gratifying. It feels satisfying. And that's what I see you coming out of. Even if you're being pulled back into a place you don't 100% want to be or go back to or deal with people of the past, etc. It's helping you see how far you've come and, do any necessary tweaking that you need, right? So that you're not going back into that place. And I don't think you're going to. I don't feel like it. I feel like it's just more triggers and just frustrations more than anything else. So happy full moon. I hope things go well for you tomorrow. Thank you, or today, whenever you're watching this. Sorry, I'm recording it the night before. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I super appreciate you. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I would love to hear or just connect. I miss going live, the little community. I hope you're doing well. Know that I'm just sending all the love, all the blessings your way. I so appreciate all the love and support to the channel. No, it means a lot to my heart, and I want to send back the love and blessings to you. All right, have a fabulous full moon, and I will talk to you soon.